What's up, nation?
My name, of course, Philip Defranco.
I got patriotic goosebumps.
And honestly, I wish our candidates would start talking about things that actually matter.
What's up, nation? Thank you for joining us. We just watched the first presidential debate, otherwise known as two old guys screaming at each other going, uh-huh, yeah, uh-huh, yeah. That, of course, was Mitt Romney and President Obama, who had a 90-minute debate at the University of Denver in Colorado. The debate was supposed to be split into 6 questions, 3 about the economy, 3 on other things. We only got to, I want to say 5, I'm not really sure. It really broke down at the end. Everyone was apologizing, talking over each other. So I guess the main point is I had a blast. Jim Lehrer, otherwise known as the punching bag the entire time, also posed a single question per segment, giving each candidate 2 minutes to respond. And the remainder of the time per segment was used, or was supposed to be used, for Lehrer to pose follow-up questions to each candidate's initial answer. And we're going to jump deeper into the debates, but first, we want to hear what you think. So continue. We've been doing it live the entire time. Tweet us with the hashtag PDSLive. Send us your answer to the question of the day, which is, what did you think of this debate? Did you think someone won? Just any thoughts. Also, if you mentioned Big Bird, points for you.
Extra points for Big Bird.
Extra points. Who was a communist.
He needs them.
Or at the very least, funded by communism.
And Chinese.
He didn't say it. He kind of did. But guys, with that, we are going to get into, I think, what the candidates actually said with the first question, which I think was, how long can you guys talk?
Yeah.
And also disregard everything I say. Also 2 minutes? Or maybe talk for 4 minutes.
It's like a suggested amount of time, like 2
Yeah.
minutes, 20 minutes. There's not really much of a difference.
It didn't really matter, but here was them speaking words out of their mouth holes.
Congratulations to you, Mr. President, on your anniversary. I'm sure this was the most romantic place you could imagine. Here with me. I was in Dayton, Ohio, and a woman grabbed my arm, and she said, "I've been out of work since May. Can you help me?" And the answer is yes, we can help, but it's going to take a different path. My plan has 5 basic parts. 1, get us energy independent, North American energy independent. That creates about 4 million jobs. Number 2, open up more trade, particularly in Latin America. Crack down on China if and when they cheat. Number 3, make sure our people have the skills they need to succeed, and the best schools in the world. We're far away from that now. Number 4, get us to a balanced budget. Number 5, champion small business. It's small business that creates the jobs in America.
So wait, I don't think we actually included. There was a part where Obama opened up by saying "Happy Anniversary."
It was very sweet. It was very sweet.
And then Romney, I think it was one of his practice zingers, goes, "Well, I'm glad we get to spend time together on your anniversary. I'm sure that's a zing."
That's so romantic. See what I did there? I poked fun. I expected all of his zingers to be like directly toward Obama. I feel like that was kind of like a self-zinger, which is like he probably had some advisor that was like, look, if you somehow in any way draw attention to the fact that you're not charismatic, that might actually work in your favor.
You know what? Actually, talking about not charismatic, I actually thought if Romney won on anything, it was the fact that he came off as a human being. I think he definitely fought off the idea that he's just this robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Totally, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I feel like for the first time, especially for this first question that kind of like right out of the gate was insane on both ends, I feel like, you know, you had Obama, who kind of looked like he was reeling a little bit from Romney, who came out just completely swinging.
Wait, Romney?
Or Obama was
like,
reeling
who is swinging
from Romney. I don't really know who's running for president.
I heard it was Gary Johnson and Ron Paul,
Gary
but apparently
Johnson.
that's wrong. I don't know, but I think next up we have Obama's answer, and then we can talk about both of them.
There are a lot of points I want to make tonight, but the most important one is that 20 years ago I became the luckiest man on earth because Michelle Obama agreed to marry me. Over the last 30 months we've seen 5 million jobs in the private sector created. The auto industry has come roaring back. Housing has begun to rise. We all know that we've still got a lot of work to do. Governor Romney has a perspective that says if we cut taxes skewed towards the wealthy and roll back regulations, that we'll be better off. I think we've got to invest in education and training. I think it's important for us to develop new sources of energy here in America. America does best when the middle class does best.
So it really seemed like a lot of what happened during this first question was Obama saying, well, Romney wants to do this. It's going to be 5 trillion, 7 trillion, a billion trillion. And then Romney was like, no, what?
That's not the case, I promise.
That is not, they didn't want to call each other liars, but they were like, that is not accurate, sir.
It almost got
that
kind
is
of,
not.
Yeah, especially toward like, as the debate kept going, it got kind of exhausting because it got to the point where literally both of them were like, no, That's not true. And then they just circled back and forth, around and around and around. But I feel like at one point Obama almost immediately called Romney out on the whole trickle-down economics thing, which is something that I really wanted to hear Romney talk about. Right. He didn't really skirt around the issue. He basically got straight into the whole idea of business income being sort of taxed at the personal levels, and therefore you end up sort of hurting the middle class when you tax these businesses. Something that's a point that I'd like to hear said, but. Then when the moderator, or the punching bag, as it were, the little old man.
Poor guy. I feel like either one, he was too soft-spoken. You know, because I think he's a respected guy.
Yeah.
He was just too soft-spoken. Either that, or he heard Romney was like, "I'm going to cut PBS," and he was like, "Maybe I should make a friend."
Okay, I'll just keep my mouth shut then. Yeah, it was kind of like one of those like, you will speak when spoken to, and then he's like, "I'm the moderator."
Both candidates did it.
Totally.
We're gonna talk about it later when it comes up. Which there was some moments.
But then at one point, like after the whole trickle down, after Obama kind of throws that term out, and then everyone's sort of like, "Oh yeah, it does trickle down economics." Yeah. Romney addressed that, and then the moderator was like, and the moderator was like, "Do you have anything to say in regards to that, President Obama?" And he kind of like completely dodged that question a little bit, which, I mean, he brought up good points, but and he brought up, as far as I know, truthful points, but at the same time, he wasn't really answering the question, which is always something that's kind of frustrating to see in a debate.
Right. I mean, one of the big things was that Romney was saying, well, I'm not, these are tax cuts across the board, it's for everyone, we're all going to pay less, and somehow the money's going to be there. One of the things he said he definitely will not do is he does not want to tax, I don't think he used the term the rich. Well, no, he said the wealthy. He was like, those guys are fine. I'm not going to do anything with them. A big part of it was defining what the hell middle class is. And I feel like it's something that is very, very important because it's that $250,000 mark, and it's something that a lot of people might not know yet. And that is when you have a small company, and let's say you're running it as an LLC, you are still taxed on a personal level. So if you are running a company and you have several employees and you're making $300,000 a year, you're having your taxes raised. You are under Obama's plan. But Obama says, well, we're not just talking about those smaller companies. We're talking about those giant corporations. And he later on mentions Exxon. He mentions Donald Trump.
Sure.
And
yeah, he brought out like the Donald Trump card, which I get. Like that's the whole debate. It's like you have the rich versus the poor. Right. Which is asinine to begin with, but you have this idea that rich people are evil, which isn't entirely true, but at the same time, evil or good, they don't necessarily deserve to pay any less taxes than the middle class. That being said, when you have businesses that are being seen by the IRS as individuals, you're going to screw some people over. Yes. And I think that's something that bothers me because I know my parents, they don't collect paychecks even though it looks like they have all of this money because times are hard, the economy sucks, and then they have the government taking money from them as if they're making more than they actually are. So when President Obama said Donald Trump is a small business, it's like, yeah, but so is my dad, so it's kind of like, I don't really care about Donald Trump,
right.
So it's kind of hard for me to like get on board with this whole idea that, we need to just, it's hard for me to get on the board with the idea that we need to tax everyone by the amount of money that it looks like on the paper.
Right. And I mean, another big thing that Romney threw out was that there are people that say that if Obama gets his way, there will be 700,000 people out of work, essentially undoing a lot of what Obama has said as far as getting America back to work, which he was dealing with a deficit or a ton of job loss when he came in. But I'm trying to think. There was essentially, Obama comes down to 3 words. Comes down to math, common sense, and history, in reference to trickle down. And also, it seemed like at some point I was just waiting for him to like tag Bill Clinton in because he was just kind of saying a few of the things that he said at the DNC, and I was like, did he just lifted that? I think that was it. Yeah, is that Bill probably cleared it.
Yeah, no, I think those are kind of like, I don't know. It's hard for me because when somebody says, okay, it comes out of math, common sense, and history, it's like, yeah. Like, I feel like, I don't think anybody on either side of the aisle is arguing that. It's a really awesome debate strategy to be like, listen, dude, like you can give me any fact you want, and if I look at you and I go, look, bottom line, bro, it comes down to math, common sense, and history. It doesn't matter whatever you just said. I negated all of it because it sounds so much cooler.
You're like, yep, I guess.
Oh, you're right. It does. Yeah. Man, life, crazy. But yeah.
I think that might have also been a hard thing is you're limited to 2 minutes and you're trying to explain something. And
yeah.
But I mean, you couldn't say that they were limited to it because
They weren't.
they were not at all.
They chose not to be.
You know what? I'm going to go to, you guys have been tweeting PDS Live. I'm going to see some of the stuff that you've been saying right now. I'm very terrified. Actually, yeah, you have the iPad. I have my white iPad that's totally not mine. It's totally not mine.
Okay, so at Follow Here There says, not gonna lie, at Philly D has been a huge reason why, as a Canadian, I have an interest in American politics. So thanks.
You're welcome. Now, come to the States in a very hard to get here way and then vote eventually.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
No.
That's your to-do list. At Dusk's Rebellion says, hashtag PDS Live, this debate was a shame. There was way too much back and forth, much disrespect to the moderator, and little substance, no winner. Ooh.
That could be, I could definitely see that being argued.
Yeah, totally.
And completely backed. I don't know. I thought, you know what? I mean, we're going to show the clip later. When there is a moment where Barack Obama is being cut off, and then he says, well, I had 5 seconds until you cut me off, and I was like, oh God,
yeah.
No, you just lost everyone.
It's hilarious.
You just lost everyone. You were like going. I could see that. There were many moments where I thought that they were pretty childish. I was trying to trend hashtag Obama grin, I'm sorry, Obama smirk, because he was just like, he's like, I can't believe this mother.
And then Romney has like that, oh, you poor child.
You think you
you
know words.
Look at you with your words. No, yeah, I feel like they must have like facial expression coaches or something that like sit them down and are like, listen, when he's talking, don't do a whole lot, but do just enough. You know what I mean? And then throughout the hour and a half, they're like,
it just opened. I felt like it just opened because it turns from Obama smirk to Obama, I'm gonna punch you in the face smile. Like, if someone does it, this old man is gonna have to hold me back. Let's see. I'm gonna look at one more question. I want to see something. I don't get how Romney proposes we get the best schools in the world if he's going to cut funding on education due to his tax cuts. And I think that was something that Obama was really trying to get across. Was he was like, tax cuts sound awesome. They sound really, really awesome. But a question that you echoed during the DNC, the RNC in general, right? All these like possible programs, everything. It's great, but where the hell are we getting money?
Yeah.
Where are we getting the money?
Yeah.
Now, to Romney's defense, I would say he has said that he wants to stop corporate loopholes. But I don't know, a lot of it, I mean, all of it is really just two guys. What it really boiled down to is two guys going, yeah, no.
We'll do that, I'll do that, you didn't do that, you did do that, you just did that, you said that, and oh yeah, it's crazy. Which is the nature of it, which is what makes it fun, because we can get into it. But yeah, I mean, I feel like out of the two of them, I do feel like Obama was more quick to finger point, ironically, because I feel like given the last 4 years, it should have been Romney doing it. He did do a fair share, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But Obama was the one that was like, look, like in debate, criticism. He's like, look, you're saying and making all of these claims, but you're not giving any facts on how to do it. And I'm thinking the whole time, like, that's politics, though. Like, that's what people do. You know, he's been in this game a long time. He should know that people are going to say stupid stuff and not have anything to back it up. It happens every 4 years.
Right. I should also mention that when we talk about the economy, I am not an accountant. I pay people to do that because I am an idiot.
And I can't add.
I just want to throw that out there. You should not take what I'm saying as an expert. I just take that as that
actually, since you bring that up, that's actually, I like that point, because something that Romney brought up in the very beginning was regarding studies, and I feel like it was a cool point, but then he completely like kind of defeated it later because he kept bringing up every study. Yeah, he was like, oh, well, the recent study and this recent survey and all that. But regardless, I do think it's a good point when he's like, look, you have this study that says I'm going to do this, this, and this, and then I read another study that says you're going to do this, and then I read a study that's not, you know, and this, the idea basically is that you can't trust a study for a whole lot of anything. Right. I heard somebody say a few days ago that the only thing that a study can ever prove is that more studies need to be done. So, and I really like that.
That was great.
And I feel like that's kind of, so whenever somebody's like, well, actually, the board of such and such economists have stated that this will happen. It's like, okay, I get it. And I'm not saying they're not smarter than me, because obviously they are.
Right.
I don't set the bar high on intelligence. That's actually a really good quote. I'm going to tweet that. No, but
hey,
yeah.
You look like Obama half the entire thing.
He was tweeting the entire time.
It just looked like he was tweeting,
yeah.
Even though it was his team, and I was like, that's amazing.
It would have been brilliant if he'd have done that.
He was like, this guy.
Yeah.
This guy.
Am I right? One word.
But keep tweeting us with hashtag PDS Live as we talk about each topic. I want to keep doing that. I want to keep taking what you guys were saying. Next up, we have the second question, I believe.
What are the differences between the two of you as to how you would go about
tackling the deficit problem in this country.
I think it's frankly not moral for my generation to keep spending massively more than we take in. Well, mathematically, there are three ways that you can cut a deficit. One, of course, is to raise taxes. Number two is to cut spending, and number three is to grow the economy. The president would prefer raising taxes. I understand. The problem with raising taxes is that it slows down the rate of growth. What things would I cut from spending? Well, first of all, I will eliminate all programs by this test if they don't pass it. Is the program so critical it's worth borrowing money from China to pay for it? And if not, I'll get rid of it. Obamacare is on my list. I apologize, Mr. President. I use that term with all respect, by the way. Good. Okay, good. The president said he'd cut the deficit in half. Unfortunately, he doubled it.
When I walked into the Oval Office, I had more than $1 trillion deficit greeting me. So I put forward a specific $4 trillion deficit reduction plan. The way we do it is $2.50 for every cut. We ask for $1 of additional revenue, paid for, as I indicated earlier, by asking those of us who have done very well in this country to contribute a little bit more to reduce the deficit. Governor Romney earlier mentioned the Bowles-Simpson Commission. Well, that's how the commission, bipartisan commission that talked about how we should move forward, suggested we have to do it in a balanced way with some revenue and some spending cuts. When Governor Romney stood on a stage with other Republican candidates for the nomination, and he was asked, would you take $10 of spending cuts for just $1 of revenue? And he said no.
Numbers! There's so many numbers.
So Romney, this is where he throws out that he would cut PBS. Then he apologizes to the moderator. This is where every person on the internet started making jokes about Big Bird. I was very disappointed.
Yeah, that meme, Big Bird, paid for by China.
Paid for by China. Everything's paid for by China, isn't it? That's what I read on the internet.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's 100% true.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
I feel like, the Big Bird thing is amazing, and it's one of the reasons I love the internet. That being said, I do feel like the idea of judging a program based on whether or not it's absolutely necessary and whether or not you'd have to borrow money to keep it is a good thing. Yeah. That being said, absolutely leave Big Bird alone. Like,
would you leave PBS?
I feel like it's such a small amount of money that I probably would. Yeah, I don't feel like it's on the list of things that we could cut if you're going to continue to have the national defense at like however many quadrillions of dollars.
Yeah, well, that was a big thing. He was like, they don't want more money, but you want to give them $2 trillion more dollars?
Yeah.
And
exactly.
where are we going to be able to track it 100% well? Like,
yeah.
Why?
So I feel like if you have, it's a little bit of, going back to what Obama said, a little lack of common sense. It's kind of like that. It's where I feel like a lot of times the Republican Party does fall short because they have this idea that they want small government, no programs, but at the same time it's like they can't see the forest for the trees. Like if you have a ton of money here and you're giving a little money here, don't just take the little bit of money. Right. Like, especially if it's Big Bird, he's adorable.
He's adorable. Even if he is is he a communist?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He released a statement. No, he taught me to count, and I feel like that counts for something.
Really?
Yeah.
It wasn't the dude?
That sounds
one.
No, it wasn't that guy. He scared the crap out of me.
I don't know. I feel like we're just talking about Sesame Street.
Had to be Big Bird.
But no, I mean, so I think that's a big point. When you say that you will cut PBS, especially compared to everything else that is massive and fatty, it sounds stupid. Mm-hmm. It sounds like really an act that's meant to be more of a symbolic act. To go, I'm cutting, I'm trying, even though in comparison to everything else that is fatty and what you are increasing.
Yeah.
I mean, I try and I go both ways. Use that, internet. I understand both sides. It's just a matter of, I can't agree with Romney on.
Now, I think it's important to clarify too. He's not demolishing PBS. He's just cutting funding. Like, it's not like.
Well, it's not like he's in a hard hat and he's like fucking tearing down a building.
Yeah. Big Bird already spends most of his time on a street anyway. Get it? See what I did? Sesame Street on the streets. I don't know what I did. It was a pun. Okay. We're both blacked out.
Sorry, this is going as well as the debates themselves. I think actually before.
Where's an old man we can yell at?
We need one. Damn it! No, but I think before we keep going on, I think we have the rebuttal video ready right now. So let's see that.
The Department of Energy has said the tax break for oil companies is $2.8 billion a year. And it's actually an accounting treatment, as you know, that's been in place for 100 years. Now,
It's time to end it.
and in 1 year, you provided $90 billion in breaks to the green energy world. Now, I like green energy as well, but that's about 50 years worth of what oil and gas receive. You put $90 billion, like 50 years worth of breaks into solar and wind, which is, you said you get a deduction for taking a plant overseas. Look, I've been in business for 25 years. I have no idea what you're talking about. I maybe need to get a new accountant. But the idea that you get a break for shipping jobs overseas is simply not the case. I would like to take the Medicaid dollars that go to states and say to a state, you're going to get what you got last year, plus inflation, plus 1%, and then you're going to manage your care for your poor in the way you think best. States are the laboratories of democracy.
I suspect that on Social Security, we've got a somewhat similar position. Social Security is structurally sound. So my approach is to say, how do we strengthen the system over the long term? And in Medicare, what we did was we said, we are going to have to bring down the costs if we're going to deal with our long-term deficits. $716 billion we were able to save from the Medicare program by no longer overpaying insurance companies, by making sure that we weren't overpaying providers. And using that money, we were actually able to lower prescription drug costs for seniors by an average of $600. The way for us to deal with Medicare in particular is to lower healthcare costs. When it comes to Social Security, as I said, you don't need a major structural change in order to make sure that Social Security is there for the future.
Nor I are proposing any changes for any current retirees or near retirees, either to Social Security or Medicare.
Oh, hey, what's up? We were just watching that on our iPads. It's really cool like that. No, so a big thing here was the $90 billion, that's what really caught my eye, the $90 billion wasted or thrown at the green industry, which is interesting because in the beginning, he's like, we need to. We need to put money in new energy, in green energy. And he said that his biggest criticism of Obama was that he didn't just bet on the winners, he bet on a ton of the losers. And with something new, could it be argued you never know?
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. Yeah, I think, I feel like you never know and something big could break. There could be some huge scientific discovery. At the same time, you don't take tax dollars and just hope for the best, especially when we're talking about $90 billion, if that is in fact the correct amount. If it is, this is one where I am totally going to have to side with Romney. Like it goes back to when we were at the RNC and the DNC. If there's no money for something, don't throw it at something. We need green energy, and I think Mitt Romney understands that. I think, like keeping with the theme of everything he spoke about during the debate, he wants to keep it in the private sector, encourage competition, do it that way, instead of just taking a huge chunk of money and giving it to somebody. I actually side totally with Romney on this.
And so with you siding with Romney, do you also agree with all his desires to get natural gas to focus more on clean coal?
That's a little bit murky for me. I feel like for right now, for the most part, like if we need coal and we need to do it, we need to do it here, and if it will help us get ourselves off of our dependency, then to foreign oil, then absolutely. That being said, it needs to be recognized as a temporary fix and not something that's going to be like the mainstay for the next 10 years.
Okay. I like it. I like it. I approve of your response.
I don't know, I could be totally wrong. We'll find out.
And then I love when he says you need a new accountant. He's like, I've been in business for 25 years. I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
I like that too.
Guy. I don't know. I don't need a new accountant. $716 billion saved. Now that was a big thing with Medicare. Romney saying he cut it. Obama saying, well, no, we were just overspending. I don't know.
I don't know either. They talked about it during the...
Everything was so vague.
They keep throwing around this number. What was it, 716?
$716 billion.
First of all, that number's so big I can't fathom it.
A billion sports... No. 716... No. No.
Yeah, exactly. God. So it says it's $716 billion is apparently referring to Obamacare's reductions in Medicare spending over 10 years, primarily paid to insurers and hospitals, but the statement gives the impression that the law takes money already allocated to Medicare away from current recipients.
Thank you, PolitiFact.
So basically it's a big number.
I really, you know what, I wish that PolitiFact and the fact checkers were just, instead of like the snarky fucking Patton Oswalt tweets and stuff like that, I wish that were those were the lower thirds.
Yeah.
America would be so much smarter
so much smarter.
Just facts.
Instead of, Romney keeps grinning.
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha. And then we had, obviously, the AARP says Romney weakens the whole system. We have Romney saying Obama and I are same on Social Security. Not much there. I like that Obama owned up to the, or not owned up, owned the term Obamacare, since that kind of came off snarky from Romney. He's like, Obamacare, I say that in the nicest way.
Poor guy can't do sincere.
While I'm telling you to go screw yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like the fact that he owns it too. I mean, regardless of what your stance on it is, if someone comes at you with something and you're like, I'm not calling it healthcare, I'm calling it Obamacare, screw you, dude. And then the other dude's like, cool, do it. I'm always for that like mentality. Anytime somebody's like, yeah, I'll go with that. Sure. Yeah, I like that bro mentality. And
I think we're about to go to PDS Live Tweets, which keep sending it in. We got an update that, I mean, we're talking about who won, possibly. I was saying, I think a big win for Romney was that he came off very personal, very smart. Even if half the time he was like, nuh-uh. All 4 major network polls are declaring it's a clear win for Romney in the debate. Bill Maher saying Obama got his ass kicked.
Ooh.
Bill Maher, why are you so sassy?
Not Bill Maher.
Smoke up some more.
Okay, so over in the Twitter world, at Giselle0416 says, hashtag YouTube politics, Obama just seemed hesitant. Sure, I can get behind that.
Well, I gotta throw this one in. PDS Live, with that $90 billion Obama spent on green energy, he could have given every American a couple of $1 million. Show me the money. Do we have a math person?
Can somebody divide? That
90
sounds
billion?
about right.
So if there's a trillion billion people,
is there a calculator out? That is a good point, though. Yeah, it's a large chunk of money.
By the way, Casper1, love you for the comment. Please don't murder me. Then you had another one?
Oh, yeah. At Chasing Chelsea 1 says, I was just waiting for Kanye to come up on stage and interrupt the debate. Don't worry, they were doing enough interrupting on their own.
Yo, Bill Clinton was the best president of all time ever.
I'm going to let you finish.
What was that accent? That wasn't even a person.
I don't know.
That wasn't a person.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, Kanye. I love your music.
The Casper, actually, we already covered the Casper one, but I'm going to read this one again because it's an interesting point. At the Casper one again, he says, I think the point Romney was trying to make was that if it isn't fundamental to the government, we are borrowing to pay for it. Yeah, I think that's the idea. I think it was just kind of silly on Romney's part to mention Big Bird because you know the internet's going to go crazy for that kind of a pop culture reference.
Gabe Shakur says, is it me or did Romney seem very liberal? I think what was very smart was he was like, I agree with the president on certain things, but then here's where I disagree. I thought it was very smart. Honestly, and I say this as someone, I don't really necessarily like both the guys. I feel like if Romney wanted to jump, right, and he just completely just gave up on like his morals or like his base, and he was just like, yeah, all those social things, that's me. I think a lot of people will be like, yeah, I want to hold on to my money.
Yeah.
Because I think the young vote, it's heavily swayed by social issues. And I think...
Yeah, I mean, even during the debate, like they were doing the whole, we were watching the feed on here, and they had the lower third that was like, I can't wait for them to bring up marriage. And I was like, I don't think they're going to do that because it's like economy and domestic issues and all that, which is great. But it just goes to show that that's what's important to people.
Yeah. Though I was happy to see that I won my $5 bet that Romney threw out God at a very random moment. Yeah. It was like, it was on business and the economy, and it was like, God. And I was like, there it is.
I don't remember. Was it just in the middle of a sentence? Like, it was not even a part of a sentence?
It felt weird. Yeah. It felt really weird. But that's...
Like, look, the thing about domestic
I'm not bashing it.
issues,
I had a bet that he wasn't going to do it until much later on. Yeah. He was going to hold that card, and he did it.
I was really hoping Obama was going to bring up the 47% thing, and he didn't.
Yeah. Maybe that's his ace in the hole. He's like, they think I lost. Just wait.
Bring out the 47% next time.
But I think keep tweeting us with hashtag PDS Live so we can keep throwing in your responses. And I think we have the next question and clip right now.
All right, this is segment 3, the economy. Entitlements. Mr. President, do you see a major difference between the two of you on Social Security?
The name itself implies some sense of dependency on the part of these folks. These are folks who've worked hard, like my grandmother, and there are millions of people out there who are counting on this. The way for us to deal with Medicare in particular is to lower health care costs. When it comes to Social Security, as I said, you don't need a major structural change in order to make sure that Social Security is there for the future.
Governor Romney, you have 2 minutes on Social Security and entitlements.
I want to take that $716 billion you've cut and put it back into Medicare. And with regards to young people coming along, I've got proposals to make sure Medicare and Social Security are there for them without any question.
I just wait. Can I throw this in real fast? We had an update with people with calculators who said Google says there are 311.5 million people in the U.S. 90 billion divided by that would be roughly $289 per person. So Casper, once again, I love you, but your math was a little off.
I'll still take $289.
I will take $289. That is, I think, a PS3. Is it?
Yeah. It is.
Well, it's not real. It's not a real thing. I'm so sad.
Welcome to politics.
Welcome to politics. I'm just going to keep looking at Twitter. Twitter is, thank you, nation, for tweeting us because we don't know what the hell we're doing. Nope, just more people with calculators. Let's see. Oh, now it's just getting anti-Mormon. Now it's just getting anti-Mormon.
Oh, it's anti-Mormon, really?
Shame on you, nation.
I don't know why.
Shame on you.
At Oh Hey Sophie says Romney's being vague and Obamacare is just straight dumb. I've said that ever since he proposed it. Jeez.
I thought you were going to say, gee. You know what? You know what was great? Because Obama did. He threw that out there. He's like, you pretty much, you set up the base. You set up the base for Obamacare. And you even said, I keep taking notes. Wait, just so you know, these are my notes. Oh, wait, you can't see them. Oh, my goodness. Wait, he said, I've done it before, and I'll do it again. Except with healthcare, I imagine.
Probably not. I do think I like that when he was talking about healthcare, which for me is a subject that I completely, like Phil, go both ways on.
Okay.
No, but when it comes to it, I don't know where I stand on it. But I do like that Romney clarified that he would repeat what he did, except he would do it for the nation, but on a state-by-state level. I think that's kind of a good idea. Also, it was at that point where President Obama was like, look, I'm sure when you did that, the 87% of Democrats did a great job of teaching Republicans how to cooperate. And I was like, that's not... I was like, you're making a statement about how to cooperate with people, and you're attacking them about cooperating. I'm like, that doesn't. You should maybe attack over different matters. That's like That's like punching somebody for not being like loving enough. Like,
Is it?
Yeah, no, not really.
I liked where you were going.
You see my analogy.
I totally agree with it.
Yeah.
It was like we have to work together, stupid.
Don't you get it? Like you don't work with me. You don't work with me at all. And it's like, okay, maybe not.
We have this one, which I understand. I'm kind of getting tired of hearing about Obama's grandma. Does that make me a bad person? No. Most of their answers are specifically crafted to randomly throw in a teacher, and she was blah blah blah, and there's a student, and she can get an education, and my grandma is actually a woman, just so because she's a grandma.
It's like my grandma.
I don't know if you know that. Grandmas are women.
What do you think about women's rights? Well, it's like my grandma.
That would be the best segue ever.
I got a baby daughter.
Which there was. I feel like there was maybe one segue the entire time. It was like a question, and he was like, let me start on that, and then go off into crazy land. Let's see. I want to keep looking at questions. Or do we have another video? We do have another video? I'm just going to keep talking to myself.
We did work on this alongside working on jobs because this is part of making sure that middle-class families are secure in this country. And let me tell you exactly what Obamacare did. Number one, if you've got health insurance, it doesn't mean a government takeover. You keep your own insurance, you keep your own doctor, but it does say insurance companies can't jerk you around. They can't impose arbitrary lifetime limits. They have to let you keep your kid on your insurance plan until you're 26 years old. And it also says that you're going to have to get rebates if insurance companies are spending more on administrative costs and profits than they are on actual care. Number two, if you don't have health insurance, we're essentially setting up a group plan that allows you to benefit from group rates that are typically 18% lower than if you're out there trying to get insurance on the individual market. Last point I'd make before
2 minutes is up, sir.
No, I think I had 5 seconds before you interrupted me, was Governor Romney did a good thing working with Democrats in the state to set up what is essentially the identical model, and as a consequence, people are covered there. It hasn't destroyed jobs, and as a consequence, we now have a system in which we have the opportunity to start bringing down costs as opposed to just leaving millions of people out in the cold.
Your 5 seconds went away a long time ago.
5 seconds. That was so terrible. I feel like that's the point where Obama started kind of losing it, if anything. Because he came off, I think, aggressive, if anything.
Yeah, he kind of started out, I feel like Romney was immediately ahead, and then he, like, before you knew it, Obama was, of course, like, poning the whole thing, and then that happened, and it's like, oh, okay, well, that's awkward.
I mean, the big points here on healthcare, Romney saying $2,500 more a year with Obamacare, even though it was supposed to be the exact opposite. Boards can decide what treatments you get, which Obama later said that's not true. That's not what the boards can do at all. Also, Obamacare makes it 3 out of 4 business owners, and I think that's the right stat, are less likely to hire new employees because of Obamacare.
That's when that was the first survey he mentioned after harping on how studies don't matter, which I found, disappointing. That being said, there is a difference between a study and a study and blah, blah, blah. But there's something, it was regarding the healthcare, this idea that Obama mentioned, look, he's like, insurance companies are going to jerk you around.
Right.
And I feel like that's a really, I feel like it's a good point. That being said, I feel like anything that's based in competition and in capitalism is going to jerk you around. You get jerked around if you go to the mechanic, you get jerked around if you go anywhere. I don't know that it necessarily means that the government needs to step in and fix everything.
Okay.
That being said, if there are sick people that need health care and this plan will help them get health care, then it should happen.
Right.
Like for me, it boils down to the people that are sick. I have a hard time believing it's that cut and dry. I imagine I'm leaning toward the idea that most of it's just bureaucracy and who's going to have what amount of money. But I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry, I was enjoying the B-roll we kept showing of doctors helping people. We didn't include any of the doctors that whenever I go in for my preventative care is like, fucking Obamacare.
Yeah.
I mean, Obama though says, what was it? 2.5 million young Americans now have insurance who previously did not have it. That's mainly just because it has been extended to 26 years of age. A lot of Obamacare has actually not gone through yet. I think that's a lot of people don't realize that. And like you said, go for it.
One good thing about too that I have to say about Obama. There's a girl around, she's not here right now, but her name is Lee Newton.
Oh, yes.
She has, as a result of something in the Obamacare plan, because of like pre-existing conditions, she has health care, my understanding is that she wouldn't normally have, which is amazing. And that's one of the things that when I heard that, it's kind of like, I don't know, like when I'm deciding what I do and don't believe regarding politics, most of it goes down to like whether or not I know a person who's like affected by something, because I feel like that's when it actually gets real.
Right.
Like when it comes to my dad and the business side of things, or with a friend who has health issues.
Right.
So for me, when I heard that, I was like, okay, if that's the case, then absolutely, I'm pro Obamacare, 100%. If Romney says he's going to keep certain things, certain good aspects of it, then that makes me wonder about that side too. So I don't know. It's one of those things I just need to do more research on.
Yeah, I think it would be like literally like Obamacare is shown, right? And then you see, well, what do you have and what do you lose with Romney's plan? I think that would be a huge thing. And then you hear voucher system, which a Democrat is always going to throw out whenever they get a chance. Vouchers, coupons for healthcare, because it does take it away. And I think it does really come down to that personal level. When you talk about Lee, I think about personally my family, like low income, pre-existing condition. It's a bitch to get coverage, if you can even get coverage.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't make that much money, or at least before. I don't know. And as far as, go for it.
Well, that's what you have, I think, when you have, like, because I can talk all day about how, like, a mechanic can screw you over, and therefore that's an analogy for the government not getting involved in healthcare. But there's a line that gets crossed, I think, when insurance companies do things that are dictating the livelihoods of people in their healthcare. So if you have the private sector, if the private sector is hurting the private sector in some way, then I can understand implementing something like Obamacare.
Yeah, I want to go to PDS Live. I want to see what you guys are thinking about Obamacare, healthcare, what the guys said on it. Use the hashtag right now. I'm going to see, that's not a comment, but it's I like how Elliott Morgan emphasized, geez.
Oh, yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, that was the tweeter.
This one's for Elliott. Can you talk about the advantages of privatizing everything? We want small government. Hashtag PDS Live.
Oh, can I talk about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good.
You think, I mean, do you think healthcare with companies that make profits, that's their goal? Do you think that is a good thing?
I think it. Do I think it's a good thing? No, I think it's a necessary thing.
Okay.
So I think when you have, and it goes back like, do I think that a private company? Do I think the government can do a better job? I think would probably be the question that I would have to ask. So
yes, that's actually great. Yeah.
No, I don't think the government can do a better job. And so anytime the government steps in with anything and says, we're gonna fix this, then I tend to be like, no, I would rather you did not.
Right.
Just because it freaks me out. Large government is not, I don't believe, what this country was founded on. I don't believe what it should be. And I believe we already have a huge mess of bureaucracy that we need to work to fix. I don't necessarily think Romney is going to fix it.
Okay.
I certainly don't think Obama is going to fix it. I don't think they allowed the person who would fix it to be in this debate.
Who do you think that is?
Probably Gary Johnson or Ron Paul.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier this week.
Yeah. I'm a fan of them. But yeah, no, I think that it's absolutely not a good thing, but I don't believe that necessarily dictates, I don't think that necessarily leads to the government stepping in and fixing everything for us.
Okay. Who do you think would be a better candidate when it comes to funding public schools? I mean, when I think schools, I mean, I think Obama, but that's just because of what we know about Pell Grants.
Yeah.
I think that's really it.
I think, I don't know, I'm not in public school anymore, thank God. It was horrible. And yeah, I mean, I would probably, as far as funding, it would probably be Obama.
Okay, cool. Let's see. If someone as great as Lee Newton has benefited from Obamacare, then it most certainly has had a positive effect.
That's absolutely 100%.
So I think what they're saying is Romney wants to kill Lee Newton.
Ooh.
They just lost the SourceFed vote. I'm
get
sorry.
awkward.
That's also a lie, what I just said. It's
That's
a
also
huge
a lie.
lie.
That was also-
it's a massive lie. But does it really matter? I don't know. I think a light just fell.
That was a great moment, too, when there was a huge noise on stage and Obama turned around and he was like, huh, there's noise back there.
Someone fell.
Yeah.
Gary. It's probably Gary.
Gary? Is Gary here?
Dick. He's what a dick.
Okay, so moving on, we have at iCuddleDemi says, do you think Mitt Romney avoided saying what he would do to replace Obamacare? Kind of.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's something that I think we were all, or a lot of the media was critical of when Ron Paul was asked, well, how do you do it? And he was like, well, it's really hard to explain. It takes a lot of time. I think a lot of, like, it's easy to make fun of him, but it's a massive thing. Like, we can say, you know, it's basic math and common sense, and that's fine. But when you do have something as clunky and as fat as the government, right? And if they are going to have a hand in something, it's going to take a lot of time to explain.
That's an excellent point, yeah. Especially, I mean, not that they in any way stuck to the 2-minute mark, but the idea that they were supposed to at least be somewhat brief, yeah, there's no way. Like, it is complicated. I do feel like there should be some grace given when it comes to a politician detailing every aspect of their plan. I mean, for crying out loud, they hire people to do it anyway. They appoint people, they find other people that are experts in that area, and then they're surrounded by advisors that tell them kind of like the basics of it. So yeah, I mean, I think there's some grace that can be given in that area on both sides. Obama's the same thing, where it's kind of like, what are you going to do to fix it? And Obama's like, look, here's what I inherited, here's what I had to do, and this is what the auto industry is doing really good.
Yeah. No, there was, I felt like that was, I was just waiting for that. I was just waiting for Joe Biden to randomly scream, GM's alive!
GM is alive!
Remind them!
Oh, Biden's here too?
Damn it. You're supposed to wait your turn, Biden.
Get over with Gary.
Who let him out of the closet? The basement. I'm not trying to insinuate anything.
Every 5 minutes we have the obligatory sexual
This is what happens when I don't have media training. Damn it! Let's see. Lie all you want. This is politics. Thank you. Thank you for understanding.
Oh yeah, that's what makes it fun. If everybody told the truth all the time, I'd have no interest in watching these things.
Exactly. Do you have anything right here?
Let's see.
Oh, I think we actually have the next question.
Oh, beautiful.
Cool. Let's roll the next question and the responses.
Governor Romney, you wanted repealed. You want the Affordable Care Act repealed.
The cost of health care is just prohibitive, and we've got to deal with cost. And unfortunately, when you look at Obamacare, the Congressional Budget Office has said it will cost $2,500 a year more than traditional insurance. When the president ran for office, he said that by this year he would have brought down the cost of insurance for each family by $2,500 a family. Instead, it's gone up by that amount. It puts in place an unelected board that's going to tell people ultimately what kind of treatments they can have. There's a survey done of small businesses across the country. It said, what's been the effect of Obamacare on your hiring plans? And 3/4 of them said it makes us less likely to hire people.
We did work on this alongside working on jobs, because this is part of making sure that middle-class families are secure in this country. And let me tell you exactly what Obamacare did. Number one, if you've got health insurance, it doesn't mean a government takeover. You keep your own insurance, you keep your own doctor, but it does say insurance companies can't jerk you around. They can't impose arbitrary lifetime limits. They have to let you keep your kid on your insurance plan until you're 26 years old. And it also says that you're going to have to get rebates if insurance companies are spending more on administrative costs and profits than they are on actual care. Number two, if you don't have health insurance, we're essentially setting up a group plan that allows you to benefit from group rates that are typically 18% lower than if you're out there trying to get insurance on the individual market. Last point I'd make before
2 minutes is up, sir.
No, I think I had 5 seconds before you interrupted me. Was Governor Romney did a good thing, working with Democrats in the state to set up what is essentially the identical model, and as a consequence, people are covered there. It hasn't destroyed jobs.
So he talks about the identical model, which we kind of said, but it's not. I think it's weird because he's like, he's completely different. He's just like me. I just felt like there really if Obama's problem, if there was an Obama problem, which I think many people are saying, it was that there wasn't just one path. There wasn't just one story. But I think also let's look at the last question that we have here, the last one they covered.
Governor Romney, you have 2 minutes on Social Security and entitlements.
I want to take that $716 billion you've cut and put it back into Medicare. And with regards to young people coming along, I've got proposals to make sure Medicare and Social Security are there for them without any question.
Do you believe, both of you, but you had the first 2 minutes on this, Mr. President, do you believe there's a fundamental difference between the two of you as to how you view the mission of the federal government?
Government has the capacity, the federal government has the capacity to help open up opportunity and create ladders of opportunity and to create frameworks where the American people can succeed. Because if all Americans are getting opportunity, we're all going to be better off.
Hitting key points. I think hitting the key points. I think something that was really interesting here that Romney made mention of when Obama would say, like, this is doing really well. You know, we're doing pretty good here, and he's like, no, it's doing well in spite of you.
Yeah.
That's more of a conversation on the people than you.
Yeah, that was in regards. I think the first time I remember him doing that was the rise in natural gas.
Yes.
And Romney was like, no, it's private land, not government land. I thought that was
nice try, though.
Point. Yeah. Yeah, all in all, I was like extremely surprised at Romney's ability to come back at Obama, more so than I thought he would be, because I did not expect Romney to come out swinging the way he did. So that was another example of that happening, which I thought was kind of cool. What I was saying a second ago was, I can't find it again on here, but somebody said that they should replace Obamacare. Oh, here it is. At It's Wolfie says, I think we should replace Obamacare with Steve Zaragoza Ewok hugs because those look like they cure everything. I actually did have a flu the other day, and Steve hugged me. And the flu went away. He got the flu.
I was like, I'm pretty sure he was sick.
Yeah.
100%. Let's see. I want a job where I can tell the president to shut up. That's actually a good point, right? You have the leader of the free world and the guy that wants his job.
Yeah.
And you're like, if you could just, don't be a dick to me.
Yeah, and I like that there's a moderator there who's like literally getting annoyed with the most powerful man on the face of the planet. He's like, you had the 2 minutes the first time, okay?
Come on now. Come on, Obama. What did we say about this?
It's probably a trippy experience.
I don't know. I would like that job. But that's also because I don't care about my position in life.
I liked actually kind of, I feel like as far as the format of the debate, I like the fact that it was a little bit more back and forth. I don't know. I feel like maybe it would have been better to be a little bit more structured. But I really enjoy them just kind of, no, and kind of hashing out one subject. Because like we said a second ago, you can't delve into these huge topics in 2 minutes and expect anybody to get anything out of it.
And then let's see, we have Jesse Get Down, who says, we feel entitled to education, but not health care. Do we have equal opportunity if we don't have an inherent right to health care? I think, see, that's the thing, is I do believe that there is an inherent right to health care. The thing that sucks about every program, there are the people that need help, and there are the people that just suck. Suck and just bleed the system dry. There are sick people that need help that die. The reason that I like Obamacare or just universal health care in general is I want to imagine a world where people don't die when they don't have to.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I stand with it too, because whenever somebody's main like attack on Obamacare is like, well, it's gonna increase the deficit. It's like, I don't care about the deficit. Like, I mean, I care about the deficit, but if it's the difference between somebody dying, then okay, increase the deficit. So I do think there's a happy medium. I think maybe Obamacare isn't perfect. Romney care probably isn't perfect. But yeah, I think that's an excellent point, that we do sort of feel entitled to education, but when it comes to healthcare, we're all kind of like, well, no, leave that in the private sector.
Because we do, I think, especially with healthcare and just the deficit, we take the human element out of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, granted, I don't want to pay the bills for some smoker that's just like eating donuts all day, right? That's the thing. You're like, I take care of myself, I take care of my family. Should I be responsible for Joe Blow that's being a douche with his own body? Should I? And I think, I don't know.
Yeah, and then you have the flip side of that, which is people who are extremely healthy, who don't want the government stepping in and deciding that they have to have insurance, or they have to do this, or they have to do that. As far as, I'm curious too, I don't know what the PolitiFact says on it, but what Obama said in regards to there being a board that dictates what kind of health care you have, because that's kind of one of those things where it's like, oh my goodness, absolutely, you're totally right. But, you know, I want to see what other people have to say.
Well, because we have a thing here, let's see, it looks like from PolitiFact. Romney says 42% of the economy is spent on government, including Social Security, Medicare, defense. PolitiFact says it's mostly true. However, not from cost of government employees, but from U.S. individuals that pay that stuff off anyways. There you go. Let's see, should we go out on a question, or I think that's pretty much it.
I think that's pretty much it, man. What other questions could there possibly be?
I don't know, hashtag clean coal. Everyone loved that. Everyone really, really loved that. I think that's it. I think the main point of this show is that we're not geniuses.
No, we're experts. We're not conducting any studies.
But the whole point is to have a conversation and to actually look it up. So I would say if you get anything out of this, one, what do we know? What do they know? Look it up. Look it up. And don't just look up like, you're like, am I right? Because yes, you're going to be able to find a thing that says you're right. No matter what.
Google, am I right? Yes, yes you are.
You are a genius.
7 billion results say you're right.
Nice, anyway, I'm not going to say that. I think that's it. The main point, if you watch this show, you love freedom. And also ice cream?
Ice cream too, yeah.
There's one other thing.
Freedom, ice cream.
Lee Newton.
Ewok hugs.
And Lee Newton.
And Lee Newton.
And Ewok hugs on Lee Newton. But I think that's it, Nation. That's really it. Use the hashtag PDS Live for other things you want us to cover on our weekend shows, on our regular coverage. We will be back here for post coverage on the next debates. I'd like to thank Mr. Elliott Morgan for being here with me tonight.
Thank you.
Oh.
Your delight.
As always, I've been Philip DeFranco. Can we cut to the second camera and give love to the people in that room who have been trying?
Cut to second camera.
Cut to second camera.
Cut to second camera. Cut.
Wait, look at those. Oh, that's just one lovely person. Oh, look at those
many
people in the control room. Yeah, give them the love. Give them the love. They've done their best to try and make us not look like jerk-offs.
Let the spray paint on the back.
But guys, that is it. As always, my name's Philip DeFranco. I love yo faces, and I will see you tomorrow and then at the next debates.